What up, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. I'm Christmas Dave, and I am a Christmas whore, and today we're going to talk about Black Friday. Everybody knows Black Friday. It's the day after Thanksgiving, or sometimes the day of Thanksgiving, depending on what time you grew up with it, where retail stores put a bunch of discounts on shit to get everybody ready for the holiday season, and shit just gets absolutely crazy. We're talking fights, arguments, even deaths from back in the day. And I just want to go back in history, just take a look at Black Friday, how it started, and some of the casualties that have happened, and just going over some of the stuff Black Friday had to offer. If you were a kid in the 90s or a teenager in the 2000s like me, you would understand Black Friday. You would get up about 2:30 in the morning, then you would go to the store and you would just indulge in the chaos. I asked my mom to do it. I didn't just go. I asked her to. She wouldn't have taken me if I didn't ask. And I used to see it firsthand how crazy shit would get. Now I don't really do a whole lot of it anymore. I done it a couple of times, mostly whenever it was like, oh, well, we're going to be opening on Thanksgiving now, so make sure you're here at 3 o'clock in the afternoon when you should be spending time with your family. But that was whenever I used to work on Thanksgiving. I didn't really have a whole major Thanksgiving celebration. Everybody was pretty much done. So I would go do it on Thanksgiving and just see all the craziness. I used to have friends that I used to hang out with that we would just go walk around and just kind of look and make fun of the people fighting over a TV that's probably going to last less than a year anyway. This is going to be a video where I'm going to start kind of delving into the whole Christmas Dave aesthetic, and we're going to go in and just talk about Black Friday, the history, and go from there. So without further ado, let's get started.
Merry Christmas!
You know about Black Friday. How many times has this happened to you?
Wow, I can't believe on Black Friday I got a copy of Dinner for Schmucks on sale. It was only $1. I knew the 8-month wait was worth it. I can't wait to go home and watch it. I can't believe that you took the last copy. That's so fucked up of you. I wanted that. Oh, sorry about that, friend, but it was the last one, so I guess you're just out of luck, or you'll have to go to another store to find one. No, that won't do. I'm gonna have to solve this with violence, and only violence. It's the only way to take care of my problems. What? That's crazy. You don't have to resort to that at all.
Well, it hasn't really happened to me, but I have seen it plenty of times. So now that I'm a super popular and very successful YouTuber, I decided to say, why? What is Black Friday? How did we get from shopping for our family members and friends to punching each other and fighting over TVs, Xboxes, PlayStations, electronics? I've even seen people fight over towels before, and I just want to figure out the history of it and why this is. So Black Friday, where's the term come from? I know what you're thinking. Stores operate in the red for the rest of the year, which means that they're working at a loss. Then people start shopping for the holidays and they start making profit. But that's kind of the truth, but not really. It actually started as a term in 1869 by two financial advisors that tried to buy up all the gold supply in the United States at the time and try to turn it around for a major profit. So basically just like scalpers in the PlayStation 5, the Xbox Series X, and now even the Steam machine now, but mostly Pokemon cards as well. They just try to scalp it and turn it around, and it failed, and it caused a huge market crash. Philadelphia police in the 1950s started using the term for holiday shoppers because they were describing it as all the mayhem, gridlock, theft, etc. All the major stuff that you know about Black Friday was happening, and it was just kind of like a slang term that they used, and that's where the phrase really started to take off and get more popular. And guess what? I lied about that fact because it wasn't holiday shoppers, it was tourists and suburban people who would come down into the big city and cause chaos to get ready for the big Army-Navy annual football game. So not holidays just yet. And Philadelphia police were just tired of everybody's shit. That's why they started talking about Black Friday, because it was just a day where they weren't allowed to take the day off. They had to work extra shifts, had to deal with shoplifters, and it was just a big headache for them. That's when they started using the term. And I forgot to add, in 1939, President Roosevelt moved Thanksgiving up a week to lengthen the shopping season and to kind of boost the economy. And a lot of people didn't really like that and made fun of him for it and called it Franksgiving until the government made it an official holiday in 1941. So in the 80s, that's when they decided to kind of get rid of the negative stigma of Black Friday that the Philadelphia police used. And that's when they started pushing the narrative of being in the red all year and going into the black during the holiday season. And that's the reason that I said it was kind of the reason they call it Black Friday, but kind of not, because stores and companies just push the narrative further just to get rid of that stigma in the 50s. And that's why we have the narrative now of,
oh, we started in the red all year, and then in the holiday season, we go into the black, we start gaining profits because people are shopping for Christmas in the holiday season.
So everything was cool through the 80s and 90s, and then in the 2000s, the thing called The internet came out, and that's whenever people started shopping online more, and that's when they started the Cyber Monday thing, and that blew up in popularity. And that's whenever Black Friday kind of started to dwindle down a little bit to, you know, kind of slowly starting how we see it today, but it was still, you know, getting up at, you know, 2:30 in the morning, going out with your family or your friends and going to get all these deals. But they also had the Cyber Monday thing now that they've started, which kind of took the traffic out from Black Friday, and people would wait until Monday to see what they could get online. Then companies started saying, hey, we're going to open up on Thanksgiving Day. So go ahead and bring your family here at 5:30, 6 o'clock in the evening and get your shopping done on Thanksgiving Day. As a way to kind of combat the whole Cyber Monday thing. They kind of offer better deals, and it started ramping up a little bit more. I kind of did it back in the day a little bit, but it really wasn't anything crazy. I didn't, you know, really fight anybody or do anything. People saw something and it was sold out. I was like, oh, well, shit, I'm fucked, whatever, I'll find it somewhere else. And then it kind of moved on to this thing called
Black November,
which kind of takes over, and now it's more of like sales throughout the entire month rather than just the Black Friday and the weekend. And that's kind of where we are today. So that's just a small history of Black Friday for those of you that didn't know. Maybe you did know, but now I want to kind of jump into some of the tragedies that have happened all because of this holiday, kind of shed some light on these things, because I know it's fun to make fun of people for fighting on Black Friday, but you also have to remember that there are people that have died in these situations, and it's just from people just having so much greed they could save all this money and they end up killing people. So we're going to go through, and I'm just going to talk about a few significant things that have happened over the years and just go from there and just shed some light on it. So Black Friday deaths didn't really start until 2008, which was the very first big one. So in the 80s, there was really no kind of crazy deaths or anything. It was more just along the lines of chaotic with the Cabbage Patch Kids. Then in the 90s, you had the Tickle Me Elmo fiasco in 1994.
Well, it's this year's Toy Story, a red furry doll that giggles a lot. Tickle Me Elmo is the hottest thing this Christmas.
You had the Furbies in 1998, and all throughout the mid to late 90s, you had the N64, and it was just more chaotic rather than tragic. 2008 was the very first tragedy that actually happened. If you've been on the internet for a while, you know there's a website called BlackFridayDeathCount.com, and it basically documents all the tragedies, injuries, deaths that's happened on Black Friday, dating back to 2006. So the first death that happened on a Black Friday that was documented was a really tragic story. It's a 34-year-old temporary Walmart employee. This is his name. I'm not going to try to pronounce it and butcher it and disrespect him or his family. He was working Black Friday, and then at 5 a.m., 2,000 customers were banging on the doors, and the double sliding doors eventually fell and collapsed, which eventually suffocated him. And the worst part is, customers really didn't give a shit. They just kept on trampling over him, and the first responders that tried to give him CPR were also trampled by the same assholes.
Police say the crowd even jostled first responders as they attempted to revive Dimitai Damore, who was pronounced dead at the hospital about an hour later.
Customers were more mad and pissed off at the fact that he was there taking up the space while they were trying to enter the door than they were actually caring about this kid's life. He was a young 34-year-old, and it was tragic how it happened and how people didn't give a single shit. Animals, humans suck. So I'm going to use my phone for this part, but the family ended up filing a wrongful death lawsuit against Walmart, citing a severe lack of security, poor crowd management, and aggressive corporate marketing. They reached an agreement in 2009. Walmart ended up paying $2 million in restitution to families and $400,000 to this specific family. This was kind of like a big flashpoint in Black Friday shopping, because after this happened, OSHA stepped in. And again, I'm going to use my phone so I can clarify and say it clearly. They stepped in and they established clearer guidelines for crowd management, and large retailers began implementing stricter queue lines, barricades, and timed entries to prevent future crowd crushes, which is a good thing. I hate the fact that this young man had to lose his life the way he did, but it enforced better crowd controls for Black Friday shoppers, because humans can't fucking control themselves. So considering that was like the big flashpoint, I'm just going to kind of go ahead and just talk about these next ones. I'm only going to talk about like significant injuries and deaths that have happened. So with that being said, this next one, it was in 2008 again, and it was a shootout at a Toys R Us that ended up killing 2 people. Palm Desert, California, in a crowded Toys R Us, 2 men shot and killed each other out in the parking lot. It all started by the 2 girlfriends, wives, whatever, started arguing at the checkout, and I guess the 2 men got involved, and it got a little bit more heated and more serious, and the guys pulled out a handgun and they started shooting. And I lied, it wasn't in the parking lot, it was actually right in the store, and they were going down aisles and ducking for cover and everything else. Just fucking crazy shit. And the two men were found at the front of the store. These are their names. I'm not gonna try to pronounce it and butcher it. I suck with words and I don't want to disrespect people. So that's what happened with that incident. But I will say that the motive was basically something that was not Black Friday oriented. It was more of a personal vendetta. So I don't really know if I should even count that, but it did happen on Black Friday. So we're going to go ahead and count it in this. And then in 2011, this isn't really a Black Friday type tragedy, but again, it happened on Black Friday. 61-year-old Walter Vance collapsed during shopping on Black Friday and nobody gave a shit. Again, they just kept walking past him. Nobody noticed him and he ended up dying in the hospital of a heart condition later on that day. Witnesses say that people just kind of stepped over his body, just didn't really even give a shit he was there. Just goes to show the more chaotic the humans are on this crazy holiday. Not even a holiday, just on this crazy shopping day. In 2013, a father was driving home from Black Friday shopping, rolled his car, smashed into a police officer, and killed his two daughters. It was reported that the man had only slept for like 3 hours and he was up for 24, so he shouldn't have been driving in the first place. And the car that they were in, they had 4 daughters initially, 2 of them sadly died, but the 2 that died were not wearing seatbelts and they were crammed into the back of this car that was only supposed to fit 3 people. And the man ended up being charged with 2 counts of vehicular manslaughter without gross negligence. In 2013, a 19-year-old teenager was driving home from Black Friday with 4 other passengers. He fell asleep behind the wheel, slid off the road, hit a sign, and it killed him. I think the other 4 had survived. Tragic. Make sure you get some sleep if you're going out Black Friday, or have somebody that's able to talk to you, because this is all preventable and it's so tragic. In 2016, there was a shooting that happened in New Jersey in front of a Macy's store. 2 people were shot, 1 person got killed. Again, tragic. People don't know how to control their anger issues in situations like this. This is all preventable. Reno, Nevada, 2016, same year, somebody shoots and kills somebody over a parking spot. If you have to shoot somebody over a parking spot, I assume that your license is going to be revoked and you need to be institutionalized. 2016, San Antonio, Texas, a woman was being beat in the parking lot. A gentleman stopped to help, and then he was the one that ended up getting killed. 2018, Alabama Mall, the largest enclosed mall in the state. There was an altercation. Police don't know how it started between an 18 and 21-year-old, and somebody ended up pulling a gun out, shooting, firing off rounds, injuring a 12-year-old girl, but the gunman ultimately was the one that got killed. 2018, Ottawa, Canada. Somebody gets shot and killed in a parking lot. Police were trying to find and identify the person that did it. I don't know if it was a Black Friday incident or not, or if it's an altercation, but it happened on Black Friday. Sacramento, California, 2020. Gunman takes down 2 teenagers and flees the scene. 2021 in Chicago, 2-man ambush, 2 people in an SUV, shot and killed both of them. And last but not least, November 29th, 2021, a man was shot dead inside of a Walmart right before the store closed for Thanksgiving. All preventable. If people could just control their emotions, none of this could happen. Most of these are just like gunshot wounds, just people losing their control over emotions. It's sad. So with that being said, this was a little dive into Black Friday. I know it probably wasn't the best video, but that's okay. I don't give a shit. You can like it or you don't. I just made it because I wanted to do something about Black Friday. So like, share, comment, subscribe if you want. Like I said, I'm a super popular and famous YouTuber at this point. Until next time, this is Christmas Dave. Merry Christmas, and I'll see you guys in the next video.
Ho, ho, ho! Merry Christmas!